And we are live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Normal Sucks podcast. It's Joey, your host.
It's just Joey.
Randy. And we have our new guest on today. And yes, we are casually controversial. We keep it edgy, but it's still intellectual. It's simple, yet it's profound. It's true. We are the #1 podcast in Jacksonville, and none of our content's normal. It's fact-checked and confirmed. It's facts. If you haven't already, give us a comment, tell us your opinions, and if we piss you off at any point, please let us know. We genuinely want to talk about it, so comment in the section below. But for today's guest, I'm super excited. Miles is a good friend of mine. I've known you for about 2 years now, and I thought his story is super incredible, and I actually haven't really heard your backstory before or anything like that, Miles. So I'm excited to kind of explore some different things, but Miles is just turned 21 and made over $175,000 this year working in sales. So that's super. Anybody who works in sales know that takes a special kind of human to do.
It takes hard work for sure.
Hard work, yeah. So and in addition to that, working with Miles, we had a really good time, dude. Let me get a little frick, yeah, dude.
A little fuck,
frick, yeah, dude. Yeah. So yeah, dude, we're going to go over a couple of things. I'm really curious because, when you're young, it's, most people don't think there's a whole lot young people can do. And I think you've done a whole lot in the last 2 years and even where you came from your first year, but we can open things up, man. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your backstory in 2 or 3 minutes, kind of how you got into sales and, where you are today, and kind of where you see yourself going, where you're looking forward to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my name is Miles, obviously, and
bring the mic up just a little bit.
Right here.
Yeah.
Good right there.
Yeah.
Dope. All right. And yeah, I mean, as far as my backstory goes,
Is it good?
I feel like a lot of my background was, kind of dark up until I found Vivint. I feel as though Vivint truthfully changed my life.
So I'm sorry, gotta cut you off. Drag the mic and speak direct because your voice sounds really good when you speak. There you go.
Right here.
Right there. Perfect.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Am I good here?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
And yeah, Vivint, that's who I work for, obviously.
You said you had a dark time growing up or something?
Yeah, I mean, sort of, kind of. I had a rougher backstory. I didn't have the best upbringing, and Vivint, it really did change my life, and I've been working with the company now for 2 summers, so it's been almost 2 years. In February, it'll be 2 years. So, as far as the money that I made, that it's truthfully life changing, and my biggest thing is for young people to know. Obviously, college is supposedly the right thing to do, but in my opinion, I feel as though that there's other ways, So.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm excited to get into that, to see hear what your perspective is. Did you try going to school at any point?
Yeah, I went to college for 2 semesters, and it's funny because I barely even graduated high school. So.
Oh, bro, we're in the same fucking boat.
Dude,
Really?
It was crazy. Barely graduated high school. I was told, I might have to do a 5th year, and I was like, there's no way. So just put me into virtual classes, and then I went to college for 2 semesters, and I sat in those classes and didn't know what I was, why I was even there, to be completely honest with you. I just every day I remember getting there and I was just like, what am I doing here?
Right. Did you have a specific degree you were studying for? Or?
I was back then, whenever I went to college for those 2 semesters, I was big into bodybuilding and fitness. And so I was actually going to school for nursing, and it just I was sitting in classes learning about space whenever I was going to school for nursing. So I was like, what? That's kind of whenever I just cut it off. And
at what point did you what point did you cut it off? What made you think
that's
that?
when that semester where I had a class that was about space, I was just like, this is so stupid. What am I I'm going to school for nursing and I'm learning about space right now. I truthfully didn't know, why I was sitting in that class.
Sorry, can you just back up just a little bit?
A little bit?
Yeah, right there. You're fine. Perfect.
And
it's right here, good. Okay, got you. All right. Sorry.
There you go.
New camera angle.
No, you're good, dude. But yeah, I mean, that was whenever I cut it off, was then. I finished out that semester, and I'd been introduced to Vivint then, but I didn't really like commit to it. Cause then I was truthfully making like decent money for my age. I was bartending at 18 years old. I was bartending, and
How much does like a normal bartender make? Because I've heard like varied responses. Like I hear some bartenders make pretty decent money and some not so much.
so I was working my ass off whenever I was I'm allowed to cuss, right?
Yeah, of course,
Cool.
of course.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, so I was making I would say anywhere from like $750 to $1,000 a week,
Okay.
which for me that paid the bills, got me by, had extra money to do certain things that I wanted to do. So
Right.
And that's kind of, as soon as I started bartending, I would say like probably
So monthly, what did that add up to?
I would say I made at least, I would say depending on how many nights that I worked, I would make at least $3,000 a month.
$3,000 a month. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then obviously like holidays, there's months that I obviously made more and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just a weird lifestyle to say the least.
I bet it had its fun moments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So when you were so you did mention, and I'd love for you to share with us a little bit, because I think people's backstories are so important. I mean, people see like, you might have friends who now see you as like, oh, Miles, look, he's like killing it in life and stuff. But I think we all have like our own backstory, some like adversities from the past or something that led up to kind of some of the golden days that we live in now, so to speak, right? You did mention, I'm bringing it back a little bit. You did mention there were some like hard times it sounded like you went through kind of originally growing up. Can we dive into those? Like what did that look like?
I mean,
for you anyway?
For sure, dude. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, a story is kind of everything. A lot of people, they don't really know my story. They say I'm more like reserved and a quiet person, which I am like a quiet person, honestly. And I kind of keep to myself, keep my head down. But as far as like my backstory goes, like it kind of goes back all the way to like, as long as I can remember, like probably, newborn, my dad used to tell me stories, but my mom was like a really, really bad alcoholic and she'd pop pills and stuff like that. And, that's, a lot of people said I'm pretty mature for my age, and that's kind of why. So shout out to my mom, who I don't talk to, but she made me the person I truthfully am. And I grew up so quickly because I had a little brother that I had to take care of whenever she was asleep and would pass out and stuff like that. So it's pretty dark, and, I didn't really face those issues until high school. Whenever my mind kind of got dragged off of things because I got hurt pretty badly playing football, and I didn't have anything to do. And then I remember just sitting there, every day whenever I did tear my ACL, and, kind of all that anger built up, and, I ended up putting myself in the hospital. So, yeah. So,
was that was like sports your thing? Was that what you were trying to do?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really wasn't my thing. I love to work out. I love to play football. I love to compete. So yeah, in its own way, I would say so for sure.
Yeah. So like athletics in general, just being athletic. Yeah.
Being active and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sure.
so Randy hits the pump, bro. And,
I try to.
And so what draws you to like I guess like athletics and that kind of thing?
So as far as athletics, like working out was like a huge thing for me for a couple of years. I got up to, I think, 235 pounds, and my body fat percentage was under 10%. At my biggest bull, I looked completely different. I didn't look how I look now. And
I'm sorry, just to interrupt. For the people that don't know that's like Adonis type status. Like that's real lean. That's with that amount of weight, you probably look like a monster, bro.
Yeah, obviously, I had the help of other things. I had a coach at the time as well, and I was 19 weighing that much, and I saw a future doing that, and I got super obsessed with it, which is kind of where I'm at right now with obviously Vivint. But so the thing that like draws me into that is like constantly your body changing and evolving, and it's cool to see that, especially over like a short period of time, 12, 16 weeks for a prep.
Mm-hmm.
And working out like just kind of takes my mind off of things, and that's kind of how it is. So
and so you're doing athletics, and you're just doing like the kind of basically a high school out of college thing. And things in it sounds like basically things in it like completely go as planned. initially, you're like, crazy stuff growing up, right? So, I guess at what point, because what I'm trying to avoid is getting to like a Vivint conversation.
Right.
I want to hear like some of the cool stuff behind it, right? So, tell us what life looked like prior to getting into sales, and then once you started working, kind of, what I guess new things did you realize or learn that you feel like are of value?
Mm-hmm. So prior to Vivint, my life was like just completely about honestly working out.
Yeah.
That's what my life like revolved around. And
did you ever think about money or like making money? Was that ever a thing that you thought about?
Even to this day, no, like money's not a huge motivating factor to me. And I found that out quickly. I thought that it was, which is weird. I truthfully thought though, like, the fancy stuff, I thought that was a huge motivating factor to me, but I never really thought about like making money. I just, thought about doing cool stuff. And, I thought about like providing for my family essentially one day. And I knew that bartending wasn't going to get me there. 'Cause that's like my biggest motivating factor is like being able to provide for a family one day.
Right.
But before,
cool.
Before sales and, all that jazz, I was just trying to do the right things, I guess you could say, which I don't really know what that was back then. I had no sense of direction, but today I do have a sense of direction, and I know exactly where I want to go and, what I want to do. So
what does that sense of direction look like? Can you paint that picture?
Yeah, I want to retire by I'm 40. I want to be a millionaire in 5 years, which I'm on, pace to do so. And I just want to like live my life as, the way that I want it to, be essentially. And whenever I'm 40, I want to be retired in the Keys on a boat, drinking Coronas with cigars.
So have you got this all planned out in your mind? Like it's picture perfect?
Yeah. I'm kind of like weird whenever it comes like a mental pictures and what I want to do, and then I'm going to do what it takes to get there and do everything that I can.
So yeah, with that being said, I do kind of want to, I guess, kind of get into your plan. So as far as that goes, like, do you have any interest, where that you want to fall into, like besides sales and Vivint? Like, what other avenues would you want to take to, get yourself to that ultimate imaginative goal that you've already pictured in your head?
Yeah, for sure. I want to 100% start investing into like real estate properties, rental properties, and I watch a lot of like Grant Cardone stuff.
Yes,
real estate's the quickest way to get rich, obviously. And then I'm 21 now, so if I start doing that properly, all of those houses will be paid off. I would assume by the time that I'm 60.
So is your, I'm sorry to interrupt, because I really kind of want to go deep into this, because this could help a lot of people out, just for people, that want to, like, I guess, increase their cash flow, their flows of income or such. So is your plan to, I guess, start like buying residential, rent those out, and then move on to like bigger things, or what's the plan there?
Yeah. I mean, like fixer uppers would be cool.
Yeah.
Like houses that aren't in the best shape, and then, buy them for cheap.
Flipping,
flip
basically.
them.
Okay.
Not reselling them, but fixing them, renting them out for, a decent price.
Yeah, so you're getting the house at a good deal, because you're buying it out of, obviously it's like an undervalued asset at that point, and then you're able to fix it up and you increase the value and then rent it out for cash flow.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yep. And then also buying like a duplex would be ideal as well. Like apartment homes would be pretty cool as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably like a higher goal to attain, right?
Yeah, higher, because they're more expensive. But
I fucking love real estate, bro.
Yeah,
you got me hooked on that.
Yeah.
Do you have any moves this year?
So this year, what I'm like trying to do, with the money that I did earn, is just save it all for next year. That way, I have money to lose, money to gain, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. Because if I started now, like, I obviously have a, good income, but I want to have like a lot more that I can play with and, venture into things and stuff like that.
Flexibility, like breathing space, kind of.
Yeah, definitely breathing space for sure.
What are you trying to do this year?
As far as
I'll leave it open-ended for you to answer, but just I guess goals for going, 2020. I mean, you have already started 2021, to be honest. Like we start 2021 like a month or two early, right? But You're obviously already starting in 2021. So what's your kind of like goal? Like what, by the time we're going into 2022, this time next year, where do you want to see yourself at? I'm super curious to see what kind of like how you've adjusted your goals this year. Because it's like you get from point A to point B, and then you have to be like, okay, what does point C look like? You know what I'm saying?
So honestly, like my thing this year is like last year I went ham on, sales. This year it's kind of draw back a little bit from sales because I know that I can obviously do that, and I want to like try to impact and influence and help other people's lives the way that mine was, because my life was like completely turned around and changed, honestly. As far as the fact that, my whole family, they went to college and did like the right thing, and I'm kind of like the outcast, whereas I didn't do that. I quit that and I went like a different route, and I want to be able to like help a lot of other people do that and shape their lives in the way that mine was shaped. That's like my biggest goal this year, is helping other people out,
impact others. Yeah. Super curious, what are your parents like? What did your parents say when you first started doing Vivint? Were they supportive, or were they kind of like skeptical? And then what are they saying now?
So I haven't talked to my mom since I was 14.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Due to the the alcohol thing.
And I guess what I meant, family and your family, right?
So my family, they don't really know, like, truthfully how well I did with Vivint. Like the past 2 years, they have no idea at all, and they still continue to ask me like, hey, are you going to go to college? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? And that kind of is one of the things that holds me back from like purchasing something that like lets them know like I'm doing decent,
Right.
Because I don't really want like a lot of people to know that, essentially, as far as like family goes. But I still talk to my dad, and he was like pretty supportive of me doing it. At first, obviously, when you're in the recruiting process, you're super skeptical and this and that and the other. So
were you skeptical?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What were your skepticisms?
Well, that's just the way that I operate, is like my brain is like, whenever someone, throws something that's flashy at me, it's like, I just like, tense up and draw back. But I trusted Trey because he was my friend. But my skepticism.
Shout out Trey.
Yeah, shout out Trey. That's he's one of my best friends. But
it's awesome. Yeah.
My biggest thing was like, how are these kids so young? None of them had a college degree, because that's what my brain was programmed to think was like the proper thing to do, is go to college and then you make all this money. And that was like my biggest drawback, is like, how can these kids be, not even 25 years old making, $500,000?
Yeah. Like Dan Coombe. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude. Like how is that even possible to be doing that?
Right. It's crazy.
So that was like my biggest thing. And what kind of changed my outlook on that, is I remember around this time I was in the truck with Shane, Schroeder.
Shout out Shane Schroeder. Yeah. Cool guy.
And I was Shane. Yeah, me too, dude. I was in the truck with him, and I didn't really know him, but I was one of Trey's boys, so I was riding with him. I was drilling him with questions, and he just finally looked at me. He was like, dude, do you think this shit's a scam? And I was like, I don't know, bro. I haven't been shown anything. And he's like, do you want to see my bank account? And I was like, yeah. And he showed me $100,000 in his account, and I was like, bro,
proving up for you.
I was like, if I can do that, man, my life will be changed, like 100%. So that's what I was skeptical about, I guess, was being hurt.
And then so basically it was Shane being like, yeah, here are the numbers, dude. These are the digits, and that kind of changed your mind, huh?
Yeah. I mean, money talks, dude, for sure.
Cool. Yeah, I have a couple good questions, but do you have any?
No, go ahead, shoot. I'm building me.
Okay, so in the process, what do you think? I mean, dude, like the reality is one of the reasons I wanted to get you on, and I think it was cool that we were talking about it, is 175K is like not a normal thing to do when you're 21, turning 21, right? What's changed? And I like that most people who make a pretty good amount of money, whatever it is, it's all relative, right? But the commonality there is like, I guess like high performers in general it's not the money for them, right? So my question for you is, what's changed from like when, back in high school, or when you were getting out of high school, or whatever, and you were doing the bartender, what's changed from then and like since now that you're at point B, what's changed, if anything? And what is it about for you?
I mean, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Not necessarily what's it about for you, but what was it throughout the process that was like your why? It was, and you mentioned family earlier. I'm wondering if that was it the whole time.
I mean, a lot of it had to do with like my upbringing. Like, whenever I was 9, I remember whenever I still did talk to my mom, I remember she sat down with me. She told us that our house was getting foreclosed on, and having to raise my brother without really, my mom, which was supposed to be my mother figure. And a lot of it had to just go back to those dark times. Like this whole past year had to just go back to those dark times where it was like, I don't ever want like my family, to ever be in that situation financially, mentally, or, physically. I don't want them to ever have to go through, the things that I went through as a kid. I don't want them to have to do that. So that's my biggest motivating factor. Like, yeah, money's good, but I mean, I feel like being able to provide for your family is like a lot greater of a thing.
So that's kind of why it's so important to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you say to the person who's like, yeah, okay, so this is a good question. So what do you say to the college kid or the parent or the teacher or the just person on the street who's like, yeah, he's 1 in a million, like not everybody gets lucky and makes 175 grand when they're 23. Not every, or when they're 20 turning 21, like not everybody's that lucky.
I mean, I'm pretty straightforward and direct, so I'd be like, I didn't get lucky. I worked for every single penny that that I made. And honestly, anybody can do it. You just have to make the decision to do it. And once you make the decision, as long as you plan it out and do the things that you need to do, then you'll do it.
Right, like action will place you in front of luck, basically.
Right.
Yeah. If you take massive action, then it's gonna happen for sure. But you have to take that step and you have to take that action. And if you don't, then you can't really be upset for the results that you didn't get from the work that you didn't put in.
And this might tie into that, but I'm sure this past year and maybe even in the last week you might have had somebody be like, yo, what's the secret sauce? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, dude, a lot of people come up to me. A lot of people have came up to me and they're like, what do I do? XYZ. But yeah, as far as that goes, I honestly just tell them that you just have, honestly, like the biggest thing is just tricking your mind into believing that you can do it, even if you don't think that you can. Fake it until you make it, essentially. But that's like my biggest thing is I do trick my mind like quite a bit into believing things, even if deep down I really feel like I can't do it.
How do you mean by that? Can you for someone who may be like listening and isn't super well versed in like personal growth or personal development, like what exactly do you mean by that, and like what is your version of going about doing that? Because I do that in my own way too.
Right. So for example, I know that you don't want this to be a vivid conversation, but I'm going to tie
yeah
into,
100 no you, yeah no yeah. It can be,
but yeah, no, feel free to talk about whatever you want, bro.
I'm gonna tie it into that. So
sure,
for example, I deep down didn't believe that I could sell 200 accounts, even though, John was like, you can. It's really not that hard. Shout out to John Rivas. That's one of my biggest mentors. But, yeah. One of my things was I would like I said, my mind's kind of messed up. So I would literally sit there and write pages and pages and pages and pages that, I will sell 200. I will sell 200. I will sell 200. I changed my passwords to that. I put it as my lock screen. I, put it in my calendar every day that I would wake up to that. It would be, you're going to sell 200. Like, today's the day to make that change. So I would just trick my mind into believing that I'm a 200 account rep. And then that's kind of where it would go.
And do you feel like that worked?
Yeah.
Okay. And so for obviously, right, for the listener who's like, what the heck? How is that so important? Like what changes did you feel like just doing that made in your day-to-day activities and life and routine and while you were at work?
I just started working a lot harder, and I knew that that's what I wanted to hit, and I eventually started believing it. Whenever you see it every day, and that's literally what your passwords are to every single app on your phone, then
Plus, you're progressing, so like I mean, it's a
Yeah.
sign that it's fucking working because it's like
Yeah.
it wouldn't be real if you weren't making those numbers like real,
Yeah,
Did
exactly.
you do 200?
Mm-hmm.
You did.
Yep.
Damn, dude, that's
Fuck
awesome,
yeah.
bro.
Thanks, dude.
What'd you do? What was the,
Long-
what was the
long-
net
long
number?
fist bump.
Net was 220.
220.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I did 202 that were funded.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. So just to give you some context, so like, my first year in Vivint, I did 51. This year, I almost doubled and did 97, right? So Miles, your first year, you did
I did 79.
79, and then second year does 220, dude. That's nuts. So from like a sales context, like I feel like on average, just to give some context, I think on average it would be like the average rookie does about between 40 to 70 depending on their skill level and their work ethic coming in. And then second year, they'll do like 70 to 150 somewhere in there depending on their skill level and work ethic. And I mean, dude, you just blew that like literally out of the park. That's insane. So that's super awesome. I give you mad props. It was fun working with you in 2019, dude. When I saw you on the leaderboard, like when I saw your numbers throughout last summer, I was literally like, I was so happy for you, bro. I was like, damn, dude, Miles is really coming in and throwing down. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Thanks, bro. I apprate it. It was good. It was a good year for sure.
What were some highlights for this past? So by the way, let's I'm gonna transition here in a second into like more like other conversations.
do what you will, bro.
So by the way, just like throw anything in there.
Do what you will, bro.
All right, see, that's my guy, bro. He knows what's good. So throughout the last 2 years, you're working. So I was working with Vivint. Vivint's changed so many people's lives. Like, it's pretty crazy. And it's funny. I've been getting a little bit of bite back from some people. Like, yo, you shouldn't have too many Vivint guests on the podcast. I'm like,
What's that been?
I'm like, dude, bro, dude, Vivint is not normal, bro. What's going on right now with young people is not normal. And I think it's super cool. We've had Jay on so far, and also Trevor Trace, who So and now we're having Miles Setzer on here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So sorry, it's a small rant. But throughout this summer, dude, what were some like highlights? Throughout the last 2 years of going from bartender to almost $200,000, almost $250,000 at the age of 21 in 2020.
Yeah. I feel like the biggest highlight for me was just knowing that I'm like doing something with my life. That's like the number one thing for me is, I'm not stuck in a rut. I can constantly progress, in whichever way, whether it's, has anything to do with Vivint or it just has to do with like personal matter. I can progress with, my life just, from where I'm at today. And I guess one of my biggest highlights of the summer was that I didn't really get complacent because I didn't care so much about how much I sold. I wasn't really focused on like the numbers. I was just focused on, I guess being like beneficial to the team and working all the hours and being able to come back and, at night and look myself in the mirror and, say I worked hard today. That was like the biggest thing for me. And then, obviously that I can, transform my life and keep progressing and doing better. That's the biggest thing.
So I have a quick question for you, because you mentioned that, in high school you barely passed, and, that was about 3 years ago, right?
2017 was the year that I was supposed to graduate, which I did. I just graduated like 2016. I finished my classes virtually in like December of 2016.
Okay. So with that being said, you obviously killed it in Vivint, which is fucking awesome. Congrats to you, man.
Mm-hmm.
What are different features that 2020 you has that 2017 or 2018 you didn't have?
That's a great question.
So
my guy, bro. That's why we do a podcast together.
So 2017 me was in a very, very, very dark spot in life. Like, I honestly didn't see myself going anywhere. I'd convinced myself that I was just going to be a fuck up, honestly, because I wasn't passing in school, and I thought school was the answer to, whatever, like the Holy Bible, I guess. I thought that school was, the shiznit back then because it was supposed to be.
That's what your parents told you, at least.
Yeah, my parents, I love my brothers to death. They're super, super awesome people, but all of them, they did the college thing and the college route, and I thought that I had to have like straight A's in order to get into college. And so I was just in a dark place. Truthfully, a lot of people don't know this, but back then, like, I did not like even want to like wake up in the morning. I didn't, want to see another day. And to this day, like 2020, what's different about me is like I love my life, and I'm so grateful to like be where I'm at and have obviously the job that I have and be around the people that I am, like, and just continue to like meet people and you know, help other people is like one of my biggest things. So that's truthfully what's changed, just like mainly my mindset and like my heart and, you know, knowing what I'm doing with my life.
Right. Massive amounts of focus on things that are going to make you successful.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, bro, I'm just curious, dude. What do you do for fun, bro?
For fun?
What does Miles Setzer do for fun,
Dude,
bro?
a lot of people ask, honestly, a lot of people ask me that because
we ride segways around.
Yeah, dude. A lot of people just see me as like a super like focused person. They tell me that I don't have too many emotions, like, which is true.
Why do you think people say that about you?
Because, dude, my face is just constantly like bitch face all the time, bro.
So, but I'm sure you can turn that off when you sell people.
Yeah, I mean, so whenever I'm, you know, in my thing, you know, selling people, I have a different personality because I know that I have to. But outside of that, people tell me, you know, I don't have too many emotions. And I remember one kid that I brought on, he was like, man, like, Miles, I thought I was supposed to like just have like a straight face and not any emotions because that's what Miles does. And
Probably not good when selling.
no, dude. And I mean, that's who I am because like I put like kind of a box around myself. But yeah.
So
for fun,
just out of curiosity, just to rally out because we're getting to the fun, I guess. But I'll ride this little side conversation for just 1 second. Like, when people say like, yeah, Miles, you don't have any, like, you just look like you don't have any emotions. Inside, are you like kind of confused? You're like, really? Because I feel like I'm having a good time.
I mean, to a certain extent, but I know that that's like something that I'm trying to work on is like to open up to people and, you know, to see, like, I truthfully am happy, but just to seem to other people that, you know, to see a smile or something.
Fucking bro, I like you the way you are, Miles.
Yeah, dude, yeah, that's funny, but yeah, I mean, for fun, I like to travel. Me and my girlfriend, we travel. We have, you know, some trips planned. I'm actually going tomorrow to Blue Ridge, Georgia for Thanksgiving with her. So,
oh, nice.
Traveling's pretty fun for me. I love traveling. So,
why is traveling important to you? Like, why do you enjoy traveling? I really love traveling too. I just got back from Puerto Rico for 2 weeks. That was lit. Dude, that was amazing, by the way. If you've never been to Puerto Rico, super highly recommend.
I have not been to Puerto Rico. I want to go. I like traveling just because it takes my mind off of things. I know that I don't have anything that I need to focus on, that whoever I'm there traveling with, you know, I can focus on them, you know, whether it's my, you know, girlfriend or family. You know, it makes my girlfriend happy to travel as well, which whenever she's happy, I'm happy. So,
that's good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
It's just cool.
I'm single as fuck too, so it's a sad world over here.
Yeah. But I mean, it's cool to just get out of, you know, Florida and see, you know, different cultures. I love food. Like, I'm a foodie, so it's always cool eating different types of food and stuff. That's I love food like to death. So.
Favorite place you've been to so far?
Jackson Hole, Wyoming was the coolest place
really?
I've ever been to.
Why is it? I don't think I wouldn't have expected you to say anything in Wyoming. So what's unique about?
So
what do you like?
Wyoming's
why
cold as fuck.
Yeah,
right? Maybe. I don't know. I've never been. I don't know anything about Wyoming.
It's cold, but the coolest part about it is there's like this little the ski lift, and it takes you up to the Teton Mountains, which is out there, and it takes you up to this top of the mountain, and I would never ever snowboard or ski that slope because it's literally straight down. But on top of that mountain, there's this little like Waffle House that they put like Nutella and stuff in, and you're way above the clouds, and you can just overlook the slopes.
I bet that's a fucking amazing view.
Dude,
the dopest Waffle House in the U.S.,
bro.
Dude.
It's the prettiest view I've ever seen. It was like breathtaking. Like, literally, I felt like my heart stopped whenever I like turned around and looked at the clouds. And
wow.
By the way, because I mean, it should have been breathtaking because you're at high altitude. Doesn't that affect your breathing?
Yeah.
How did that feel? Did you feel any different there?
That was a good try to joke.
I mean,
that was good.
It doesn't affect you if you're just chilling, but like if you're trying to like walk, or like even take a hike, dude, it's like you feel like you're gasping for breath, like 100%. It's higher for sure.
Shit, that's crazy.
Have you traveled outside the U.S. yet?
Yeah, I've been to Mexico. My mom's side is from Canada, so I used to go there every summer. I actually have dual citizenship there because she was born there and my dad was born here. So Canada is very, very beautiful as well. Love Canada. But yeah, I've been outside of the U.S. I want to go other places outside of the U.S. It's just kind of hard to this year. With
Yeah, it is.
With the vid.
Yeah.
Yeah, the COVID
Yeah,
stuff.
I was wanting to go to Bali, but I wound up in Puerto Rico because it's easier to go to Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico, just as a friendly heads up, if you ever need like a little vacation spot when it's cold, or just like, I don't know, dude, I love Puerto Rico because you're just on this island, and I don't know, I just really got to embrace like the kid in me. You know, like I'm just like jumping up and down on beaches, bro, climbing freaking mountains, going through rainforests, and
I bet, dude.
oh
That's
man,
how
it's
Cuba is, bro.
amazing. But it's like traveling to another state. Like it's as if you were going to Georgia, but instead it's just $100 flight, and you get there, and it's literally that easy.
It's a $100 flight.
Yeah, dude, you don't even need your passport. It's Puerto Rico. It's kind of part of the U.S. sort of.
Damn. I need to
Yeah,
go to
dude,
Puerto Rico. Fuck.
Yeah, no, definitely a cool place
Love
to go.
water and beaches, man. That's
Bro, Puerto Rico is a bop, dude. If you love water and beaches, some of the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen, dude. Like I haven't traveled too far. Like Puerto Rico is probably as much international travel as I've done. I've been to Costa Rica and Honduras, but I only spent like 4 or 5 days in Costa Rica, which was a lot of fun. Honduras because I was born there, but yeah, no, Puerto Rico, dude. If you like sandy beaches and like the idea that was actually funny enough. After that was going into 2019, and you may or may not remember, but when we all were met at the hotel that first summer. That when I had met you, like you guys didn't know who I was because like I came from another team, but that was my thing. I just wanted to be like in Thailand, like on a beach, like holding a Corona, and so yeah.
That's what I kept saying over summer. Was I'm gonna take a first class flight to Thailand as soon as I get done here, but that obviously didn't work out because of the COVID stuff. But yeah, dude, I really want to go to Thailand. That's like probably top 5 places I want to go to for sure.
So just curious, like, something, okay, what passion, just out of curiosity, like sheer curiosity, like what passions, outside of like Vivint and sales, or maybe it is sales, but like, basically the question being like like down the road, let's just say hypothetically, like, smart homes become a retail thing or something like that.
Right.
What thing, like once, because you're doing great and like you said, you're on track to do really, even better, right? Now once you're at that point, then where does your mind take you? Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I was saying, I the goal is to retire, by the time that I'm 40. Obviously, that would be great, but long term, like, even if Vivint did shut down, which, obviously anything.
It probably won't.
Yeah, which obviously anything can happen, but.
Hypothetically, though, for the sake of context.
I think home security systems, it's one of those markets, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I think it's one of those markets that only expands because technology only expands. And I think, security is going to get better, and I think so are security companies. So I don't think it'll die. That's
true.
just my prediction.
Right. I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's on pace to do really well. But for example, like say it did die out, I mean, I have the craft and the skill and the work ethic to be able to do like whatever I do want to do. So, Vivint's obviously like a great tool.
Yeah.
And
you said like you'll have the craft and the skill to be able to do whatever it is you want to do. I guess what I guess craft and just overall like skills and mindsets or knowledge or whatever you feel like is worth mentioning did Vivint kind of, the experience, selling alarms for Vivint kind of give you that you feel like that confident about the future?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like the skill that it gave me the skill to like look at it, like to look essentially at Vivint as like, this is the greatest thing ever. So I'm able to sell it. If I can look at something and think that it's the greatest thing ever and believe in, what I'm selling, then I can sell anything. Like, and I'm confident to say that, like, if it was, something that I'm selling, it's a scam, I wouldn't want to continue to do that. But, if I were to find another, job, for example, if Vivint did shut down, I would make sure that it's something that I truthfully do believe in. And as long as I do believe in it, I can sell it to someone if I do believe in it truthfully.
Okay.
So that's kind of the skill that it gave me is, obviously sales are great, but, I could sell someone a pen if I believed in it.
Do you enjoy sales? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
dude, I just asked you that question, and somebody else might, like, another person sitting here might have said something like, yeah, no, I want to be like a captain on a boat or something, right? But you really like sales, or you want to continue doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that honestly, like, just sales in general is like a great way to set yourself up in life. Obviously, there's some high risk aspects to it, but as far as sales go, yeah, I don't think that I would never work a 9 to 5 job. No shot. Like,
Yeah.
not to, obviously shit on 9 to 5s.
What's something you would do?
Something that I would do, honestly, I would be a firefighter or a police officer.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what I would do. I actually was that's originally what I went to college for. Was I went to the firefighting academy, and funny story, whenever I got there, like, they're like, yeah, dude, we don't have any spots left. And I was like, bro, like, are you serious? Like, this is, my mind is set on this. And he was like, yeah, like, it started at 9 a.m., dude. It's like 12 right now. And I was like, yeah, I was working all night last night. I couldn't be here at 9 a.m. So that didn't work out, long story short.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay. True that. Feel free to jump in anytime.
I did actually want to ask a question. So,
Randy wants to ask a question.
I do want to ask a question.
All right, bro.
No, I just wanted to figure out, because, I mean, so I'm guessing you didn't have, like, any time. Do you still go to the gym?
Yeah. I do go to the gym. I haven't been, like, as strict about it. Recently, I've just been, like, taking time off, honestly being kind of lazy and regrouping, like, my mind and everything like that. Because, like, mindset's, like, my mental state is, like, a really big deal to me. But yes, I still do go to the gym. I still do work out.
Right, and that's kind of why I asked, because for me, the gym is an essential part of life. Not because, of course, I get to look good, I get to be healthier, but I primarily really do it because of the mindset thing, right?
Yeah.
I feel like off when I'm not going to the gym, like, because I also work in sales, and I feel like that just, like, amplifies my confidence and and ability to speak to people, like, even if they're not looking at me.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. I mean, it's huge as far as, like, the mindset and everything goes, and even if you change your diet, not even like gym wise, but like if you were to change your diet from eating Wendy's and McDonald's every single night into eating something healthy that you cook, like, you feel a million times better, you wake up better, you feel way better. So yeah, working out is definitely a huge part of my life. But also, like, an issue that I do have is my mind will, like, get wrapped around things and get super obsessed with it. So I have to, like, try to figure out balance.
So, okay.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I've been going through that. I actually literally got off the phone with Dan. He gave me some, like, great insight earlier. But so you get obsessed with things. So, like, do you find it, like, difficult sometimes to balance, like, fitness, work life, social life, all that kind of stuff? Is that what you mean, or do you mean something else?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Like, whenever I was, like, big into working out and everything like that, like, I did not have a social life because I was so worried about, like, looking good and prepping for a show. And
oh damn, you were doing, like,
You fucking competed?
Yeah, I did.
I mean,
dude,
at 230 you said it was?
Yeah,
230
yeah.
below 10. Oh yeah, you're definitely fucking competing.
Yeah. Whenever I was, like, about to go on stage, I think I was, like, right on 200 flat, so I dropped like 30 pounds.
Bro,
Yeah.
if you have any pictures of that, I kind of want to see what you were at then.
Yeah, I actually do have pictures, dude. It was pretty crazy how
were you able to continue to work out, like, during summer while you were working?
Yeah, I worked out
fuck yeah.
in the mornings for sure, over summer. Yeah, so this was...
Oh my god. Yeah, dude. You see that back?
Damn, bro.
That's wings right there, bro.
Those
Yeah,
are wings.
those fucking lats right there are beautiful.
That's wings and shoulder pads, bro.
This is why I emphasize lat pull downs and wide grip pull ups.
Bro, I had mini wings for a little bit. I trained with Randy for about, like, 4 or 5 months before summer, actually. Yeah.
Fucking props, bro.
Yeah,
that shit
dude.
fucking thick. Damn.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying about, like, the balance thing is, like, whenever I was in that state, I was super obsessed with working out. So, it was 6 to 8 meals a day, and I never went out to eat anywhere, and that's where my mind was. So
right.
And then, so as far as, like, the balance thing, so, like, throughout, I guess, throughout the last 2 years, whether that was through summer, like, preseason. So, like, right now we're we're chilling, like you said, like, I'm also, like, kind of recouping and, like, kind of like preemptively setting up how I'm going to go about the next couple months so that I'm very clear in how I'm going to go about and, do it and sustain it, right? So that way it's a smooth thing. How do you balance how do you go about fixing that balance, or in your own way adjusting the balance? How do you cope with that, or like work on it or whatever?
So like, for example, like I'll say like how it is now, like I don't like if I don't. So what I do is I get a glance planner, which lets you plan out like every single day and every single hour of the day for the whole entire year. It's actually a pretty good investment. You can get them for like $15, but
is it like one of the like the Brendan Burchard
I was just
high
about to say
performance
that.
planner?
I was just about to say
yeah,
that.
it's just
It's
like,
similar.
dude, every day, and every single hour during the day you can plan out.
I was looking for one of those today. I bought a bunch of calendars.
I would 100% recommend getting. I mean, it helps me because that's where my mind gets if I don't have like things planned out.
Yeah.
Especially whenever it comes to, work and.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
No, you have to. I mean, I do the
Yeah.
same thing every single morning. I take at least 15 minutes to write, at least not my schedule, but the things that I have to complete within my 3 stack of goals, which is financial, physical, and then just self-developing habits. So those are like my 3 things, and I write those things every single day, every single morning.
Yeah.
That's the only way that I can get things done. Because if I don't write it down, I won't go to the gym. Like it's literally that strict. It's weird.
Also, savers. It's a thing that I would do in the morning over summers, like scribe, affirmation, visualization, exercise, read. That really helped me out over the summer as well.
You said savers?
Yeah.
What's savers? I'm sorry, did you say what it is?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So each letter is
I'm
just
looking
like
it up.
something that you would do.
Oh, okay, so it's like an acronym.
Yeah, actually, my rookie year, Steve Thyden, shout out to Steve.
Dude, he's in
Yeah.
Jacksonville now.
Yeah.
He's in the
I
Jacksonville
heard.
office. Yeah, dude, it's so cool.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Joy, can you pass me one of those waters over there?
Yes.
But yeah,
There's a water over there for you somewhere
Sweet,
too, by the way.
dude.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. But yeah, he gave me that and, told me what it meant. And then I started to implement that in my life. And that helps me, in the mornings, essentially it gives me something to look forward to. So
I might have blanked out there, but did you list out the acronym? Did you? Shit. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
flipped out when I was asking for the bottle.
All right, one more time for the audience
you're
listener
good,
that
dude.
also didn't catch it.
so scribe, like journal, and then affirmations, like just look at yourself. I personally look at myself like in the mirror in the morning and, I say what I want out of life or want out of the day or, even something that you're grateful for, and then visualize, your day. That usually takes me like 30 seconds. I just lay in bed or wherever I'm at, it could be in a pool, in the bathtub, in the shower, and just visualize how you want your day to go. And then you exercise, and then I read for 30 minutes a day. Normally, I read for 30 minutes a day. I haven't been recently.
Yep.
And yeah, that's super, super important. But yeah.
So I was just.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, bro. Go ahead. I'm actually looking for a message.
Okay. I was just actually about to ask top 3 books.
So my top 3 books, the first one would be The Happiness Advantage. The second one would be The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That's like,
My aunt bought me that for Christmas one time.
You know what? I didn't like that book, man. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Subtle Art of Not
I
Giving a
didn't
Fuck?
find it valid to like my experience.
Okay, how so? We want to talk about it.
Well, I
Randy.
mean, I didn't really
Comment in the section
I
below.
got into like the first chapter of the book, and by the way, this is the audio version. I didn't read the physical version. And I was like, some of the stuff that just wasn't valid, and it felt like it wasn't valid to me because I'd listened to other self-development books, and like I didn't find the value immediately like I did in the other books. Like I get it. I mean, I don't want to give a fuck. I don't want to stress,
Yeah.
but like it goes too deep into that. I'm like, no, I think you should genuinely have some sort of care about some of these things. So that's why I kind of disagreed. But
So Miles, what's
See,
your perspective? Yeah.
That is why it was such a influential book on my life, is because I used to overthink things like crazy, have really bad anxiety problems and stress about like the smallest things. Like if a shirt was on the ground that I didn't put there, like I would freak out. So that's why, because it kind of helped me, be able to be so relaxed and like nonchalant. And, in certain things in life, obviously I didn't take everything from that book, but it helped me not give a fuck about some things.
Yeah.
And
which sometimes you need.
yeah.
What's an example of one thing? What don't you give a fuck about anymore?
Like small things, dude. Like
Okay, so-
anything that's like small that would normally like tweak my brain or tweak my mind. Like back then, whenever I read that book a few years ago, but it had an impact on my life because I used to freak out about small things, especially like time throughout the day. If I wasn't like on time to do something, like I would just get super stressed and sweaty and super anxiety if I wasn't on time to something, which I still do care about being on time to things, but
well, that's good.
That's just like a certain example.
Right.
Yeah.
So it kind of like opened your perspective on what you should actually focus your energy on
and what I should let go. Yeah.
Right.
And then the third book was Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins.
Yo,
yeah.
that man's a fucking monster.
Yeah, dude, that's a real good book.
Cool, man. And then and so here's another question. So if so for the listener who's listening and they're like, damn, this kid made 175 grand, like here I am, like in college, like I don't really know why I'm going to college either. I make like $300 a week doing this, or like, dude, I just don't have it set up for me. Like I have no skills. For the I don't know if everyone's in that situation. Hopefully not. If you're in that situation, like I don't know, maybe I don't know. Hopefully you're not in that situation. But for the listener who's trying to get from point A to point B, what would Miles Setzer, what piece of advice or message would you leave with somebody who's trying to just get from where they're at in life to the next point, whether that's cracking 6 figures, whether that's getting the promotion, whether that's getting the degree, or just getting from like where they are to where they want to go.
Right. I would say like
Here, Mike up.
Yeah, I would say like the biggest thing. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I would say like the biggest thing for me personally, if someone isn't like where they want to be in life, or if they're not happy with where they are in life, I would say like first and foremost, like ask yourself, have a real conversation with yourself. Like, are you doing everything that you can to go where you want to go? And if you're not, then fix those things. But the second thing is, if you just absolutely hate what you're doing, I would say find something that you can see yourself being obsessed with. And then get so obsessed with it that's all that you think about, you dream about, you breathe like every single day. And then, know that there's not any shortcuts. You're not going to get from point A to point B in a day. It's going to take, some time. But, just believe in yourself and believe, if you are taking massive action that you are going to get there. I would say that's the biggest thing, is just believing in yourself and believing that you can get to where you want to be one day.
And on a closing note, we're right about an hour, right?
Yeah, we got like 8 more minutes to an hour.
Okay, sweet. Do you have any other questions?
Go.
On a closing note, so along that process, I'm sure there was some like adversities and obstacles you went through, and realistically, I mean, life isn't always like peaches and cream. Sometimes shit gets hard even when you're doing well, right?
It never is. I mean, it's
right.
It's literally 0.1%.
Right.
That you're not going to experience anything bad in your life. Like, it's almost impossible.
Right. Except for when I hang out with Randy. Everything's just okay, except for when the audio doesn't record. This has happened to us twice now.
Or when we have somebody talking in the other room.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's always fun.
So, in those obstacles and adversities, what are some that you maybe had to like one or two that you that were big for you that you overcame? How did you overcome that? And then what would you tell us? Well, let's just start with that. Well, what were they, and like how did you overcome them?
So just like in life in general?
Yeah. Well, let's do this. Let's do 1, life in general, and then 2, maybe just in the journey. Yeah, Vivint or sales. Yeah.
Okay. So like in life in general, probably the biggest, adversity that I did face was just mental, depression. And that was like probably the worst thing that I had ever gone through. And, I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. And the way that I overcame it was, just being like, again, real with myself, having a real conversation with myself, just looking at myself in the mirror and like realizing, I'm not perfect and I'm never going to be perfect and nobody is perfect. And, truthfully, like I just accepted the fact that I was fucked up and, I'm going to continue to go through things and kind of just taking a deep breath and not putting so much pressure on myself, to fit someone's, I guess, needs, not anyone specific, but, I guess you could say like the greater power, like of God, like I don't have to be perfect for him,
right?
In order to love me.
That's awesome.
Whether that be anybody, but yeah, I would say that in life in general, that was the biggest thing that I overcame was, depression and anxiety. And then as far as, with Vivint, like in sales, so the first one was my first summer that I went out. I came out one of the top rookies in the company. And then I get out to summer, we're in Denver, Colorado. I'm 27 hours away from home. And it's the first week that we're there, dude. And I'm working my ass off. I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing, I thought at least. And, here comes the first week of summer, and I just completely bageled, like, the whole first week.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm 30 hours away from home right now, and I just didn't make any money this week, and I'm freaking out. Like, this is not how it's supposed to be.
That financial pressure is a bitch.
Dude, and I was just like, I was freaking out, because I set goals that were unrealistic, like, I guess put too much pressure on me, and that's where I started to freak out, where I thought I was going to go out and, sell this large amount, and it was just way too much pressure, and that was the first one. The second one was actually that same summer. I was hanging out with the wrong crowd, doing wrong things, going out drinking, staying up till 5 a.m.
No way, I don't even think I could see that.
Yeah, dude, it was bad.
Miles Setzer slams Ronas, bro, for fun.
Yeah,
back then in the olden days.
And how I overcame that was I just distance myself from that sort of crowd, and I just completely gave up drinking last summer and partying and doing anything that was going to hurt me in progressing and moving forward. So
and what would you say? I feel like some people, they go through an obstacle and it feels like it's too big. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that can make a lot of people feel like depressed and stuff. So when someone's going through the obstacle, when you're going through those obstacles, like, what's your mindset in dealing with the obstacle, so that you can come out on the other side?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I just think, like, this too soon shall pass. 100%. Like, I know that I'm going to get through it, and I know that everything's going to be okay. And, just, again, believing that, everything will be okay eventually, no matter what the obstacle is, that you will get over it and you will come out stronger. And honestly, that's kind of one of my favorite parts about going through, some sort of obstacle, whatever it is, large or small, is I know that I'm going to come out like a better person than, whenever I first started that obstacle. I'm going to progress and come out, stronger and sharper, and, know how to deal with something like that if it ever does happen to come up again.
Yeah, so basically, time heals all wounds. Focus on the solution while you got it.
Obstacle sounds like the opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
So
They say a calm sea does not make a skilled sailor. So
Yes, it just makes a Randy.
sure.
Yeah.
It makes me in a draft.
Yeah. I got one more question. You got anything?
No, go ahead.
Cool.
About closing it up.
Yeah, we're to bring it full circle. Yeah. So last question, just off the top of your head, top 3 to 4 people in your life, dead or alive, who you feel like are an inspiration to you, you look up to, and are kind of like iconic figures in your mind.
Iconic figures. Obviously, I have to shout out my girlfriend. She's a huge factor in my life. She's been there.
What's your girlfriend's name?
Her name's Lexus. Yeah.
Lexus. Shout out Lexus.
Yeah, she's been there for me through thick and thin. But then the other two, I would say Trey. He's the one that brought me on the job. He changed my life, and he's my best friend. He's practically like my bigger brother now. I definitely do look up to him, and I try to help him out and be there for him as much as I can.
Did you beat his best year yet?
Huh?
Did you beat his best year?
Yeah.
Nice.
This past year.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I would say my third biggest inspiration, like someone that I look up to, is John Rivas for sure. I just think that he's a badass dude. So that's probably my top 3 inspirational people that I look up to.
Sweet. So to bring it full circle, man, I appreciate you coming out. So Miles drove from Orlando to come hang out with us on the Normal Slugs podcast. Yeah.
Fuck, bro. Well, I really fucking appreciate it. I mean, not that I would appreciate it any less, but thank you for fucking driving.
Absolutely, dude. It's a pleasure. For
Yeah,
sure, man.
yeah, dude. I seriously, I'm so happy for you. Dude, I'm being honest, bro. Like, I remember we were in Houston, and I'm walking through like one of the little flea markets. We're all hanging out, like, getting food and stuff, and I'm looking through like the leaderboard, and like you're at some like crazy number. I'm like, damn, son, like, yeah, dope. Dude. How many did you do preseason?
I only did I think I did 31 preseason.
31. I did 31 too. Yeah, you blew me out of the water. Oops. Maybe you can teach me the secret sauce. I'm just kidding. Yeah, dude. But no, I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. It was pretty fun. Is there anything you want to kind of like, any specific message that you kind of, any last things you want to kind of leave out on the table, for somebody who might be listening? Anything you got?
Anything on your mind? Whatever.
I mean, I would just say like the biggest thing is, especially for young people, is like you don't need to essentially do the things that you think are right. You just should follow your heart, and everything else will take care of itself. But that's really all that I have.
Fuck yeah, that's a good message right there.
Back to the basics, brother. Yes, I like it. Miles, if people wanted to get connected with you on social media, or in any way, shape, or form, how can they do that?
They can do it on Instagram. It's Setzer Miles. They can just look me up. Have any questions, comments, concerns? Just DM me.
Cool. And then you spell that how?
It's Setzer and then Miles, like the street signs, Miles.
Nice.
Cool,
guys. Well, it's been do you have any closing comments, Randy?
No, man. Like I said, real thankful that you came by here, and fucking congratulations on all your fucking success. I hope more of it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You too.
This has been another episode of the Normal Sucks podcast. Stay tuned because we have another guest on tonight, Mr. Gene Gustav. So in the meantime, I'll see you guys soon. Let me get a little frick yeah, dude.
Little frick yeah, dude.
Frick yeah, dude. All right, peace, guys.
There you go.